Uh, Abstract brainwaves, game genie in a beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up.
Alright gang, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I know I say that a lot, but what I've wanted to do for a while was do a creepypasta. Almost like a story time. Matter of fact, it is a story time. If you hear a little echo, it's because I'm in the bathroom. One of my favorite places to read. Anywho, we've got today Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Screams. Now, before we get into it, I'm just going to let you know, what you see in the background is part of a hack that, I lost footage for. So I'm going to explain to you a little more what was going on with that. And I figured rather than, redo the whole video or videos, I could just, turn that into what you see here. And I'll go into a little bit more of that later and what I've been doing lately. So it'll be kind of like an end slate. Yeah, there you go. See, youre when he does these, and I'm not necessarily trying to bite his style or whatever. I know some people are going to think that, but these are nice little fun things, and, they're free to read. So here we go. One night I got tired of playing games I'd been working on lately. Minecraft, Team Fortress 2, and stuff. Yeah, and stuff. Kind of sounds like what I've been doing. I wanted something older, and I thought, what better than my old fave, Mario RPG? In fact, I've even been neglecting my webcomic of it lately. Fun little anecdote. I actually got a Japanese copy of it and 3 other games, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Donkey Kong, because that's what Donkey Kong Country is called over in Japan, for $28 on eBay. Back to the story. In fact, I've been neglecting my webcomic of it lately. I decided to play a little bit and it would get me in the mood to work on my new comic. I dug out my SNES and my box of games and hooked it up. Normally I'd just use an emulator, but I wanted to feel the controller in my hands. The WASD keyboard config was just getting tired to me. Anyway, I got it hooked up and looked through my games. Super Mario All-Stars, Super Metroid, Mario World, Chrono Trigger, which is not spelled right, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Found it, but when I picked it up, something was really weird. The cartridge was hot. I mean, it was really hot. It had never done this before, and there was no real explanation for it since it hadn't been used in months. Maybe somebody played it today, I don't know. And even though I should have been more concerned with why it was hot, I wanted to play it. I put it in the system anyway and turned it on. Yeah, this is something you don't want to do. Anyway, right away, I noticed something else that was really unusual. Right after the Nintendo/Square licensing bit, there's usually a cutscene of Toadstool getting kidnapped by Bowser and Mario opening his door, seeing her missing, and jumps out to save the day. This time, however, was totally different. Toadstool was sitting on the ground on the same flower patch, but she was crying as if she was mourning. Where the usual happy music plays, there was only a crying sound effect, a sound I never even heard in the game before, and Bowser never showed up. She just continued to cry. Soon Mario came out of his house and sat beside her looking sad, and put his arm around her. He wasn't crying though, trying to be tough. I didn't know what happened, but they obviously lost someone very close. The camera panned up to the sky and faded white. The screen faded back into Mario in his house doing various things. So he really just looked at everything and just was like, I'm just going to do some stuff you never see me do during games. Washing his face at the sink and looking over at the second sink and sighing. Sitting at the breakfast table with a place set for a second person across from Luigi, maybe? He stared at the empty seat for a beat before breaking into tears. At this point, I knew who they lost. It was Luigi. Called it! Mario was getting ready to go out and went for his hammer on the wall and paused when he saw the one next to it under the name, quote-unquote, Luigi. He looked like he was going to well up again. Or he looked like he was going to be well again. I don't know. But instead, he just grabbed his hammer, pulled down his hat, and left. The cutscene cut back to Toadstool in her bedroom in the castle. She sat down on the bed and sighed, brushing her hair and looking out the window. That's when it faded to the title screen. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Screams. Ah! No, I just added that in there for dramatic effect. Anyway, this was wrong. I'd never seen any of these sprites in this game, ever. And because of making a comic, I'd seen everyone, even the hidden unused sprites. Seven Screams? I wanted to shut the game off because something was seriously wrong. Okay, then just shut it off. But I was intrigued. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what Mario was going to do next. Why Luigi was dead, or who or what was responsible. I had to hit start. The file selection screen was the same. Only the Mario sprite you used to select your file didn't have the same old dumpy smile he always has. He looked pissed, and there was only one file. All my files were gone, and I got pretty far on all of them, two of which had completed games on them. Man, that sucks. The file that remained was called Payback. I selected the file, and Mario jumped off the screen like he usually does. The game faded in with Mario outside his house. He actually had dialogue. Cool. He never spoke in this game. Not one line, but he was speaking and it wasn't pretty. Mario. How could this happen? Or, wait, let me start over. Mario. How could this happen? My own brother taken from me. I'm going to do something. They have to pay. I can move my character now. The sign above Mario's door that once said Pipe House now said Mario and Luigi, with Luigi's name crossed out. Aww. I went inside the house out of curiosity. Everything was different because there was two of everything. 2 chains? No, the story didn't say that. I'm just being dumb. There were 2 beds, each with a nightstand and a lamp. Mario was the one with a green blanket, and Luigi's was the red one. That's not right. It was nice that they made some contrast there. I knew that if this was the case because if I tried to turn off Luigi's lamp, it would say, Luigi won't want me sleeping in his bed. I've got business to resolve anyway. I left the house and went for the overworld map. There wasn't much to it though. There were huge chunks that looked like they were blown apart by an explosion of some sort. Mushroom Way was fully intact. I selected Mushroom Way and went in. Everything looked totally different. The dense forest and vines looked like they had been burned away, and there were charred enemies on the ground. Some with mangled faces, and some torn off in half with actual blood, which was never, ever seen in a Mario game. I got through the first screen, and the second screen wasn't much better. The hills were flattened. The once spinning flowers were now piles of ash. Once again, there were enemies everywhere on the ground. The full heal block was still there, even though I didn't need it now. I hadn't thought until now to check Mario's stats. I opened the menu and went to status, and selected Mario. Mario had 20 of 20 health, and already had his hammer, which I didn't think was weird considering everything else. His other stats were normal too, except one. His attack, defense, magic defense were all normal, but there was a new one, Rage, and it was in red. That made me look at Mario's sprite again, and he still looked pissed. I closed out of that and continued to play. At the end of Mushroom Way was a boss, but he wasn't alive. It was a skeleton of a hammer bro that was once blocking the way. Burnt flesh fused to bones. I inspected the skeleton and Mario stepped close. Put his hand in for a second, stepped back, and smashed it to pieces with his hammer. I was so shocked at what I was seeing, but it was making for such an interesting story, because this is kind of entertaining so far. Anyway, I couldn't stop playing. I continued on to Mushroom Kingdom, but it didn't get much better from there. Mushroom Kingdom was in ruins. Walls to houses were crumbled. Toads were wandering around looking sick, some injured. The place looked like Hiroshima after the A-bomb. There was no music. Faint wailing could be heard in the background. I tried to talk to one of the people since it was the first NPC interaction so far. He didn't say anything, but I tried another. She said, "Why did you come back? Is there another attack coming?" At this point, I was crying. I couldn't take what I was seeing. I had to stop and come back later. I went down to the end to see if the save block was there. It wasn't. Come to think of it, none of the save blocks were there. The one by Mario's pad, if I recall correctly, there was supposed to be one on Mushroom Way. I think it wants me to play until the end. I paused it and took a break anyway. During that time, I thought about what the game was doing. What was this new story going to tell me? What happened to Mushroom Kingdom? Did Luigi die in one of these attacks? Quote unquote, attacks? I guess I'd have to find out when I played again. I got back to the game again. I usually turned off my TV when I had the game paused so my dad wouldn't get after me about leaving stuff unattended. Yeah, those were the days. I remember when I used to leave, and this is off the story, Zelda on late at night, pause because I knew I had to go to bed, and would just get up in the morning, not knowing what it would do to the light bill at my parents' house. So back to the story. I turned on the TV, and there was a message on my screen. You left the game. I wouldn't recommend doing that again. I was freaking out after that. I had to catch my breath, but I bypassed the message and unpaused the game and started again. The first place I wanted to go was the item shop to see what kind of items this new game had. But I got down there, and the front door to the shop was boarded shut. There was a note on the door. I read the note, and it said, "Item shop closed indefinitely by the owner." Or by owner, whatever. Sorry for any inconvenience. I am just too scared to keep going any longer. I expected that. The mean old shop owner was a coward anyway. I see some people's personalities haven't been altered at all. The only real change I'd seen so far is Mario. Not really a lot I can do now, but go up to the castle and see the princess. When I got there, I was glad to see the castle didn't get too much damage like the rest of the town. The 2 guards that usually stand outside the door were gone. I guess with the assumed thin numbers, they were needed elsewhere. Once inside, I was spotted by a toad immediately, and in fact scolded for not being there sooner. Really? Because these toads don't do anything? Maybe Captain Toad? I don't know. Fun game, by the way. Toad. Mario! Where have you been? I apologize, I'm not doing a good Toad. The princess has been worried sick about you. I mean, I would have gone to retrieve you myself, but the Mushroom Way lately has been so how are you holding up? Wah wah! Mario. Better than you could probably imagine. Where's Toadstool? She's in around, but I recommend you see the Chancellor first. I'll call her down for you. I move forward in the main hall, where the Chancellor usually is. The room was a wreck. The red carpet was all ripped up. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be reading in that voice anymore. I move forward to the main hall, where the Chancellor usually is. The room was a wreck. The red carpet was all ripped up, curtains torn off, broken windows, holes in the floor, even dead toads laying in places. Alright. Everybody still alive leaped up to their positions when I walked inside. Chancellor. Oh, my spores, Mario. I'm so glad you were here, Mario. That's redundant. There's no other way to say it. It's bleak. There's not a lot we can do right now. Or probably ever. Mushroom Kingdom as we know it may be done for. Mario. I don't care. Oh, I don't care. There, I said it. I just don't care anymore. I'd set out again to defeat a powerful evil, but not for any of you. My brother is dead. It's all their fault. I want to find the person who did this and peel the flesh off his bones. Then I'll rip out his eyes and show him to... Okay. I'll rip out his eyes and show him to himself, or themself, whatever, so he can see how ugly he is inside. And that's pretty gruesome for Mario. I mean, I'm picturing Smash Brothers here, but this is a whole nother thing here. Like Mario or Mortal Kombat X or something. Then I'll rip out his heart, assuming he has one, and this hammer is going to get me there. Chancellor. Now, Mario, that's a bit dark for you. What's come over you? He inched closer to Mario, and Mario took a step back, and another step back, before I couldn't believe it. He swung his hammer at him. He hit with all his might. Even with the sprite so small and pixelated, I could tell what happened. He broke the Chancellor's neck. A small amount of blood came from his mouth, which took the most damage. The impact happened in slow motion almost. The other Toads just watched in horror as their used-to-be hero killed their leader in cold blood. Toad. If we don't want to have Mario anymore, or if we don't have Mario anymore, what hope do we have? Everyone started crying, and Mario turned and left the room. This game was really depressing me. In the next room, Toadstool was waiting for him. Mario, I saw what you did. Why? I don't know. You know, this isn't me, but I think after the little display, I'm a lost cause. I should leave and never come back. I'm so sorry. Wait, Mario. This city is a lost cause. I think you did it a favor and put it out of its misery a little faster. Please take me with you. No, I can't lose two people close to me. Toadstool tried to respond one last time before there was a rumbling, like when the sword youre came down and shook Bowser's Key. But it came from the next room. Mario and Toadstool went into the main hall, and there above the Chancellor's body was the grossest sci-fi alien I'd ever seen. It was black and has long spider legs and a giant head. It was one of the most well-done sprites I'd ever seen in this game, as in really high def compared to the rest. Toad. It came from the Chancellor. I'm doing the wrong voice here. It came from the Chancellor, help us! It immediately started a battle. The first one I had since I started. Really? All this time? It was the regular boss music. I was happy to finally hear some familiar music for once. I got my A/B/X/Y options and was ready to attack. I tried X to get a jump attack since some of the enemies have different weaknesses. I figured I'd test it out. I jumped, never did get rusty on timing because I got it perfectly, except I did 0 damage. Now it was his turn to attack. With what just happened, I knew what to expect. It jumped on Mario and mauled him to death, dealing out 20 damage, my max HP. I was killed in one hit and the music slowed down to a halt as it does when all your party members die. And I don't know why I found that funny, but I did. That's just me talking again. The battle was over in one turn. I thought it must be a story event, and it turned out it was, so that's cool. I got out of the battle, and the alien was standing over Mario. Picked him up with its mouth and swallowed him whole. Toadstool and everyone else could only watch in horror as the screen faded to black. Because, they wouldn't try to help him. They never do. The look of utter shock on my face was unimaginable. Why would someone do this? Who could think up such a horrible ending for a Mario game? Square? Sony? I don't know. It faded back in with Toadstool and all the remaining Toads in Nimbus Land, which I was assuming, because that's what he meant to say, was the only safe place left. Holding a memorial service for Mario, the credits began to roll with no sound at all, just silence with people in the background crying their eyes out, and a wreath with Mario's picture on it. I kept it on for the whole credits just in case something happened at the end. And I was right to keep that in mind. The thing I was expecting the least, it was Luigi. He poked his head in the shot with an evil grin on his face. He giggled loud in my speakers, and the screen went black. A lot of black screens in this. I kept it on longer to see if anything else would happen, and nothing did. I turned off the game and turned it back on. But it was gone. The game was back to normal. My save files were back. Mario was actually happy again, and I started a file. I was continuing in Smithy's factory. I looked at everyone's stats. There was no rage. It was as if none of this madness ever happened. Okay. In a way, I was glad. In a way, I wanted to see how that story would have gone if, well, it's too late to think about it now because it hasn't done it since. I don't know what my system was trying to tell me, but it sure was scary to think about. And with that, this creepypasta ends just like that. Almost as if it wasn't worth reading. But it was fun. It really was. And a shout out to MattBoy115, who's the author of this. And maybe I'll do some more if you guys like this. Maybe I won't. Or maybe I'll just do it because, I might enjoy doing it. So that was Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Screams. I hope you enjoyed that. Like, comment, and subscribe, or not. So anywho, I recorded Invasion of the Mushroom Kingdom. Or maybe it's some other hack I'm playing. I can't remember at this point because some of that I've done last year, 2014, and now it's 2015. And recorded maybe 4 videos, and there was no sound. And I don't even remember what I was talking about, but I thought it was pretty good material, and as fate would have it, it didn't record. I got a new condenser microphone, and apparently what happened was when I stopped recording to start again, it just didn't take. It didn't like that for whatever reason, and I'm either at the end of the game or I think I beat the game, and that whole middle section is just all for naught. And rather than replay all that, like I mentioned earlier, I decided the best thing to do was just to insert one of these creepypastas, So I hope that's okay with you guys, and I hope you enjoy the background footage. It was great to see Ward again, wasn't it? And this is some kind of end slate, if you will. You don't have to watch this, but if you wanted to know what happened, I figured I'd explain all that. So, new things coming up for the channel. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to MagFest. It's looking unlikely at this point. Could make the trip by myself, but I'm trying to save up for a house. I'm on that Boogie 2988 plan of coming from being downtrodden to being a homeowner, the American dream and what have you. So send good energy and positive vibes this way, and I'm going to keep rebuilding credit, paying off bills, and getting into some kind of investments to, be more financially strong this year. Thank you guys for all your support, and more to come soon. See you next time. Captain Sensation!